I'm tired of Joe Rogan. I'm just over it. Joe Rogan has lost his way, and he's lost me as a long-term listener. I didn't know why I had to come to this, but Joe insisted. And I know many of you right now, the Joe Rogan fans, are rushing to the comments to go, hey, you're just a hater. You just don't like that he's more successful than you. He's rich, and you aren't. Well, yeah, I'm not Joe Rogan rich. I'm not even special. I'm just an ordinary man that listened to Joe Rogan, believed in Joe Rogan, and was lied to by Joe Rogan. And right now, you might be thinking, well, if you don't like Joe Rogan, why are you making a video about him? Well, that's a good question, and you're probably right. But I'm just a little curious. If any of you out there are feeling the way I do. If any of you no longer know what to do when that Spotify opens up on your phone and you can't click on the JRE. I'm just going to stop rambling, and I'm going to tell you right now the reasons that made me tired of Joe Rogan. Did you do a cold plunge today? No? Neither did I. That means we probably have something in common, which means you might like my YouTube channel. So go ahead, click the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications. Thanks. And don't forget to sauna. Let's start at the last straw. Let's start at the place where it all fell apart. The place where I said I will no longer listen to Joe Rogan. I'm no longer a fan. I have had enough. And many of y'all know that place. Many of y'all know that place oh too well. But that place for me, that final straw, was burn the boats. After years and years and years of Joe saying, this is how you be a comedian. This is the path. This is the only way. And if you do this, like I did this, you'll be one of the greatest comedians that ever lived. And boy, oh boy, was that not true. Because when you push play on Burn the Boats, your mind exploded. Not in a good way. Your mind literally exploded. I saw the blood on the floor. Ooh, it was terrible. But I moved on. And despite Joe rendering my mind useless, I had just enough strength to know this special was dog shit, and I could no longer support Joe Rogan because he is a liar, a phony, and a fraud. And I knew if this was my last straw, there were other things that had just built up over time with Joe Rogan and just made me get here to this point where I quit. And I said to myself, what are the other things? And then suddenly, it brought me to my next point. Cold plunges. It's a beautiful sunrise. A start to a new day. Something good is on the horizon. And the last fucking thing I want to do is cold plunge. But according to Joe, gotta. And you know what? It also cures cancer. It cures being short. Just ask Joe. You know what the cure for everything is? Cold plunges. And if you're feeling sad, you just aren't cold plunging enough. And no matter the guest, Joe Rogan always talks about cold plunging. Because life is about cold plunging. Cold plunging is everything. God damn it. I know what you're thinking. This guy's crazy. He doesn't like Joe Rogan because he does bad comedy and he cold plunges. How silly. You can't hate a man for wanting to be healthy and unfunny. Well, yeah, you can. But if you insist on another reason, I'll give you one. And that reason is your podcast sucks. It hasn't been good in a long time. And if I have to listen to Mike Baker one more time, I'm gonna listen to another podcast. And you know how I feel about that. That's treason. And it might make me feel guilty. Why have you gone astray, Joe Rogan? Why is everything political? And why are you so mad that they made you yellow on CNN during COVID? I say we just forget about it. We could forget about all of this if you just go back to making a good podcast. But you won't. And that's sad. That's really sad.